class. I record all of them and we'll have them posted on the site when we're done. This first section is on understanding AI fundamentals. We will take breaks. There's snacks over there. There's drinks over there. If you need to go to the bathroom, just ask. I obviously can pause. There is no problem with interrupting me with questions while we're doing any of these. I have 2 breaks built into the class as well. The idea of these is that it's supposed to be, per Ashland's direction, it's supposed to be 2 hours in place and then 10 and a half hours of outside work. That 10 and a half hours is relative because some things you're going to be like, I've already done that, and it will be a relatively quick part. The whole class is built around a low level of knowledge. And the more that you already have, like Dan and Beth just went to the OETC conference and probably sat through, I'm going to guess, at least 10, if not more, hours of AI classes. And there will be stuff in here that you and Beth both will be able to probably give more insight than I have because I wasn't able to go to some of the classes that I wanted to. So we'll go ahead and get started. And by the way it works, because I never said this last time, I share all the presentations as we go. That's what the QR code is for, and for what that's for. But what I was going to say is, when we're all the way done with the class, I have all the grades done by the very last day. You have to get your grades from Ashland's website. You can print out there's a paid what's it called? A paid transcript and a draft transcript. The office will take the draft one to get you guys reimbursed. You don't have to do the paid transcript at the end. What?
You need to have your receipt of payment.
Yes, you also have to have your receipt, which they gave you when you paid for it, but you can also go and print too.
Yeah.
You gotta, if you save the PDF when you paid for it, that's good, but you have to have something.
That's the piece of documentation that was missing.
Oh, okay.
So, but I have it. It just wasn't with me today. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So a little quote I got from the thing: AI won't replace teachers, but teachers who understand AI will have an advantage over those that do not. No one, and I'm not either, ever going to say that AI can or will ever replace teachers. However, it can make a lot of the things we do way more easy, way more effective, and we could do things way better by harnessing the power of AI. So first, I'm going to talk about what AI is. It refers to any task that typically requires human intelligence. AI is not intelligence in itself. It is just extremely high-level pattern recognition. So like Dan didn't look and see my little transition to me becoming a robot on that. Anyway, I had fun with it. So we interact with tons of AI stuff daily, from voice recognition stuff is all AI. Tons of voice assistants that we use, chatbots, all kinds of things that we use. What are you looking for?
You can't see that one. I have bad vision.
This is NT AI fundamentals. The NT and the AI are all uppercase. Yeah. NT AI is uppercase, and then fundamentals is lowercase. Sorry, when I made this, I forgot my screen was square, not wide. So I don't know why I forgot that, but that's why it's like this, because I usually make all my presentations 4x3. I have to move my projector back one whole tile in order to make it fit my projection screen. So anyways, AI right now is pattern recognition at scale. It's like a super, when I'm typing and it finishes the word and it shows the end of the word. That's all AI is right now, is that it's putting together tons of words, and it looks like magic, but it is not magic. It is not consciousness, and it does not in any way, shape, or form replace human judgment. Right now, the kind of AI that exists is called narrow AI. It can only do exactly what it's programmed for. It cannot think at all. Where developers want AI to go is called general AI. It's AI that actually thinks. And we are not even close to that. All of the AI we have is very, very focused on specific tasks. It may seem to do tons of things, but it's still programmed for very specific things when we look at that. So AI is not anywhere close to where It is in the movies as far as taking over the world because it doesn't have original thought at all. There are 4 basic classifications of AI that exist right now. One of them is called machine learning, which means it learns from examples of things. What's that sound? I don't think they've ever scrubbed this earlier. I've never heard it while I've been here. Anyway, large language models are what ChatGPT and our AI is here at school. In fact, I've got an AI server set up. You can't see it now because it's behind here. This laptop right now, we're going to be able to look at it later on today, is an AI server that took me about an hour to make. And it is a large language model. Computer vision is the act of AI trying to look at and interpret images. And then generative AI is what is used to create text and images and audio files. So not that really, really matters that much. All the machine learning that's happened right now is based on tons and tons and tons of data that in many cases was stolen. And there's a lot of intellectual property stuff on you used all my stuff to train your AI, and it's being used. Artists are very much against the fact that their art was used to train AI to make more art, kind of thing. But AI went through 3 stages. The first one was training it from data, and that went on, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago. And it happened over time that all of a sudden they felt like it was good enough to deploy, and that's when we got ChatGPT 2 years ago for the first time. And even then, we could really, on our AI server, have the capability of first generation ChatGPT right now. But it's gotten bigger, and we can't get to that. All of these things improve on feedback. That's why it has a thumbs up, thumbs down. Whenever you use any of the AIs, you'll see that. And those are actually taken into the model to determine which ones are the best responses to guide future responses.
If you give a negative reaction to something that's given you, like Aiken questions don't have numbers in them, are not numbered, and it numbers them, and you tell it, hey, Aiken questions are not numbered, does it start to learn that?
Yes.
Good.
Now, okay, and I want to say this because we're going to look at ours. Only learning AI models do that, which ChatGPT and Gemini and Copilot all are, which is one of the reasons that privacy is a big concern, because they remember everything we've ever uploaded goes into their database. Every response we've ever given goes in their database. So if enough people say Aiken doesn't have numbers, it's going to start defaulting to no numbers. But it didn't know that to begin with. And your one response of Aiken doesn't have numbers is not enough to change all of ChatGPT. But yes, the idea is over time it will. Now, just so everybody knows, the AI that we're going to look at here at Trail is not a learning model. The minute you start a new conversation, the old conversation is gone. It doesn't save it anywhere. You can upload every bit of student data that you want to, and that data is never saved. It's only saved in the conversation you're at. And even if it was, it's on a computer inside of Trail, and it's perfectly legal. But the whole problem with PII and AIs is that if you give them that stuff, it's now in their database forever. Will it get used again? I don't know how it'll get used again, but it is there. So anyway, we'll move on. In everyday life, we use Alexa, we use Siri. I use Alexa all the time. The Google one is, I don't know if anybody has Google Home in their house. I have Google Home and Alexa. Google was the best, and now it's the worst. It has not moved along. Just now, Gemini got into it, and now it's trying to get better again. But we originally tried both for Luke for voice to text and able to understand a voice, and Google used to always understand him, and Alexa never could. And now Google has not moved, and Alexa totally has no problems understanding speech to text. And in our living room, we have a Google and Alexa, And almost always we ask Google first because it's the closest one to the dining room table and it never knows the answer. And then we ask Alexa, which is over by my desk, and it almost always does. So, which is really weird because they're both using Google for their search, but Alexa's using Google. It's speech to text and it's back in AI is better. Anyway, we use it with Netflix, Spotify, all those prediction things. All those we're already using AI in everyday life. So AI excels at some things. Pattern recognition is number one. If you give it lots of data and ask it to do something, it is extremely good at that. It does things at huge scale. The bigger the AI, the better. And all AI, by the way, works on the back end of video cards. AI farms are hundreds of thousands of video cards that all those AIs are going on. And our AI server, the limiting factor is the video card. We have two really, really nice gaming video cards that cost $300, $350 a piece. I'm doing a grant proposal for an AI server for a grant that I found that ends in March. The video cards in those are $9,000 a piece. There's two $9,300 video cards in the AI server. I'm asking for 4 of those video cards, by the way. And that's why ChatGPT is so much better, because it's using $9,000 video cards, not $350 video cards. But in effect, it's we're running the exact same stuff. AI is great at repetitive tasks. It's great at rewording things because that's what it was built on. And it can adapt somewhat to things that we put into it. Oh, did I just die? Oh, there we go. Did I pass this line? I think I did. I'm in the middle of a master's class. Is this really important? Okay. 4:45. Okay. Yep. I will.
Is he Batman?
Okay. Bye. Well, I bet my kids are Batman, Superman, Thor, three boys. So, this is an example of what it does great. Okay. This weekend we were at Wright State with Luke, and Luke's like, "What?" Yeah, and they were like, "I never paused it," and I don't think I did. No. And he was like, "Hey, is the adaptability office open on the weekends?" And I'm sitting here trying to find it on the website. And he goes, "Why didn't you just ask ChatGPT?" And I don't know if you saw how fast it searched the web, found the answer. Before I even got to the first page on Wright State's page, ChatGPT gave up and already found the answer.
Their web page is
Yeah, it isn't very. But that's the thing is, I'm going through all these pages. I still haven't found whether they're open yet. I'm just now found out that they're not, that they're closed on the weekends, and it took me that long to do. And ChatGPT is like, "Mom, I got it." So what it can't do, can't replace human judgment, can't replace creativity. It can seem really creative based on what we ask, but it can't think of any of those things that we ask it for in the first place. We have to ask it. It lacks all understanding of what it's telling you. It does not lie because it has no idea what it just said. It doesn't know what a lie is. In AI, they call it hallucinating. When it, with full confidence, gives an answer that's 100% wrong. That's what an AI, because it doesn't mean to lie. It doesn't mean to tell you something that's not true. It just does. And the less information it has about something, the more likely it is to put together things and hallucinate what it thinks the right answer. It cannot make any kind of value-based decision because it has no value. It doesn't know value. In fact, it is in some cases the opposite of having value because it's built with so much bias from us. 95% of what's out there in the internet was built by pasty white guys. Okay? Yeah, we're all pasty white guys in comparison to... So there's tons of bias built into what is already out there, and therefore AI, which is built 100% on what it was fed in the first place, has the same kind of biases built into it. So it cannot make any choices of quality. It's just giving you back what it thinks is the right thing to put together.
So why was it so bad at math originally? ChatGPT.
Because it was written all on language. It's a language model that doesn't understand mathematics at all. It has gotten way better. In fact, Luke's in a calculus class that he said of the ones, because he records. If you don't know Android phones, if you turn on a record on an Android phone, it automatically records it and turns it into text and uploads it into your Google account. So you can just go to recorder.google.com and you can see all the recordings ever made. I have a Pixel, best old Pixel 6. He hits record at the beginning of his calculus class. At the end of the class, he grabs that, throws it in ChatGPT. He says, please make me notes. And his notes on ChatGPT are perfect, and all the math looks perfect. All the other ones, the math is wrong. Although he says Gemini's pretty close. And we're going to talk about some of the different ones. But because it was all language in the beginning. So it was trying to turn words into math, and it didn't understand math and images. And it was horrible, which we always thought was funny. It's like a computer can't do math, but it's really only putting together words. So AI is not conscious or sentient. It has no idea what reality is. In fact, we even on the newest AIs, it'll think this year is last year, and it will date stuff February 17th, 2025. And I have to say, it's 2026. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I meant to put 2026. And then the next time it does a date, it'll say it's 2025 again. It doesn't know. The most of the data it has says it's 2025, so it's still 2025. AI is not objective, and it's not bias-free. In fact, it has lots of bias in AI. That's one of the things that has been a continual problem. I was going to throw up one of the pictures, bias pictures, that took a fuzzy picture of Obama that anyone would have known was Barack Obama, and it turned it into a pasty white guy. And it was hilarious if you see the before and after picture that all of us would have been like, oh yeah, that's Barack Obama. And the AI was said, clear up this image. And it cleared it into a white guy because everybody's a white guy that it's used to. So it does that. It doesn't really understand meaning. It understands patterns. And it doesn't work the same for everyone. And all AIs are not the same. So that's one of the things we're going to look at. The bias thing I wanted to talk about early just because I'm not going to spend tons of time talking about bias. I just need to make sure you guys understand that it's there. And if you do image stuff, it can be biased. If you do textual stuff, it can be biased. That's there's a bunch of lawsuits right now concerning AI's use of employment and going through resumes that people are being cut from jobs because AI basically is discriminating. Because, most people are this category, so therefore all good people would be that category. So AI has a problem with that in particular, which you need to realize in case you do any kind of grading that's AI-based that might take that into account as well. The second problem with AI is the privacy thing, which I already hit on, which is one of the reasons I built our own AI server. There is no such thing as privacy in AI. It's going into the database. Now, they can say we're not going to release it, but even that means bupkis if it's in the database. They can say they're not going to release it, but that doesn't mean they're not going to use it. So the fact that they're saying, Mr. Wolf uploads a resume, we'll never send that resume to anybody else, that doesn't mean they're not using it to evaluate other models and stuff. FERPA is out the window when it comes to AI. So if you use AI for anything that's student-related other than ours, you have to really be careful that you take out that personally identifiable information that could be used, or worse, could be compromised sometime in the future. And the last thing is that AI companies are here to make money. They can say they have ethical considerations. That 100% depends on the company and how much that ethical consideration matters to the bottom line. And that may sound cynical of me, but I don't think AI has our ethics and our best what's the word I'm looking for? Our overall good in mind. They're trying to make money. Big companies, that's what they do. So they can say they're being ethical, but that's always got to be a consideration of ours. So large language models are what we're going to be looking at really throughout the course. This section of the course is going to be the generic large language models. The next two are going to be more educationally specific, or we're going to look at the educational ones. The next two almost entirely. This one's not the educational models and the educational ones that are set up. These are more generic. Anytime we use more than one AI tool at the same time, it's called app smashing. That was a new term to me at this conference because I'd never heard that before, and I had to be in a class before, because I saw in the title of some of the things, app smash with us, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah. I have a teenage daughter. Found out what thing means.
Yeah.
And that just seems wrong.
That's
Because when I heard that, I was just like, how do I get that out of my head?
So that's the use of more than one AI tool together to make a better product come out.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to be looking at single tools. So, and all of these there are over 200 large language models available to anyone for free. That's what's running on that one, and the two AI servers in the back room back there. And all those are ones that people can take and then improve upon. The time that it takes to make an AI server is about an hour. This one right here, I don't know if I woke it up. This one is that laptop right there. I don't know if it's still awake or not. I may have not got it awake. See if I can wake it back up. Did I get it? Oh, yep. Okay, woke up. So this looks very much like ours, and we have really multiple two main AI servers at Trail. Blazor AI.nationalinterval.us is the staff one. Students cannot log on to it, just so you know. And this one has no guardrails on it at all. Does image generation, will do whatever you ask it to do. And to log on to that, it's just your username and password that you use on your computer every single day to log on to. Oh, new version just installed. Woohoo!
The traction.
One of the things that it lets you do is it lets you pick from multiple different. These are all different large language models. One of which says the student boon, which if you use that, you're going to get exactly the same thing that a student would get. On if they were to go to Boone, they don't have a choice. They get this one every time. So if they say, "Can you write me a paper?" The Civil War, it will not do it for them. It's going to say, you know what, I'd really like to help you with that, but I can't. I don't know why it's going so slow. Maybe it's not. It could be that I just woke it up.
Is this the only AI that the kids have access to?
Well, no. I don't have everything else blocked. So it's saying, hey, you want to learn about the Civil War, but I can't do it, and it's going to do that. This is a large language model that's on that laptop, just to show you that you can run them on almost anything, and I could ask the same thing, but on this one, that's got no guardrails. If I ask that, and the reason I point this out really is because you can install one on anything, even if we blocked everything. A student could make their own AI server at home, and this is running on that little laptop right there. It's not even a real AI server, and this model is just as quick as ChatGPT, maybe a little bit slower, but I just wanted to point out that it's not magic. It's just a program, and it's not hard to install that program. It takes 20 minutes to set up the laptop, another 30 minutes to put AI on it, and another 10 after that to put that web interface on it. It's not, and any kid that really would want to do it could do the same thing. I just wanted to show you that real quickly. When we talk about AIs and models, these top three, I'm going to tell you that are in my experience, the best three: ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Claude. Microsoft Copilot made a good initial run, and I have found it to be substandard. GenSpark is brand new. I could tell you nothing about GenSpark other than I heard about it when I was watching the Super Bowl from Matthew Broderick. But it is supposed to be competitive with the top three up here. Grok AI is from Meta. Is from X or whatever it's called now. It is known to have tons of bias on it. So one of my son's best friends only uses Grok, which I think I put it here because it's one of the bigger ones, but I don't find it to be that great. And then I put our AI server on that list as well, because if you want to use it, you can use that one as well when we move forward looking at the different things. So as far as AI, this is from Teach AI, which is who the state of Ohio uses for their AI education. If you go to the state of Ohio AI resources, you will get sent from the state of Ohio website to Teach AI's website. And these are the 7 principles that they say we should be thinking about whenever we're using AI in education. Purpose, why are we using? Compliance, are we adhering to our local policies? Knowledge, are we promoting AI literacy? And that means not just are we using it and teaching our kids how to use it responsibly? Balance, are we balancing the benefits of AI versus the ease of AI? Kids need to understand that AI doesn't replace thought and reasoning, but it's a tool to help us get maybe a little bit higher with our thought and reasoning and ability to communicate. Integrity, are we making sure that there's academic integrity with our kids and they understand what that is? And we're going to talk about that a little bit more today. Agency, understanding that AI can't make human decisions. We still have to be the ones to make those human decisions. And number 7 is regular evaluation and assessment of things. And we're going to talk about that. I have not, or had not, prior to putting this all together, even reevaluated my own AI policy in my class. And there's some things that have changed that I have not done. So anyway, so those are the big 7 principles from the state of Ohio. We're going to talk about these 4 things, and really the assignments are based on these 4 things. We're going to talk about classroom policy. Just so you know, we were ahead of the state on having AI policy. We talked about having AI policies in our classes 2 years ago, and then everyone was supposed to implement it last year, and the state of Ohio just caught up with it this year. It is mandatory per ORC for everybody to have a classroom AI policy, and we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about redesigning assignments and projects and things in our class to try to make them more AI resistant, because as much as we want to train kids how to use it, we also have to make sure we're making assignments that they can't cheat all the time. We're going to talk about content adjustment for assuming you have content for your mainstream students, how to adjust them for gifted IEP 504. And in the case of some classes, maybe you don't have ones for maybe your textbook is college level and it doesn't hit your kids. Maybe it's already gifted and we have to adjust it for our mainstream kids as well. And then we're going to talk about prompt engineering, how to get what you want out of AI. Those are the 4 things that kind of we're going to break up here. So first one is our AI policy. Most people just copied or I know a lot of people just copied what I sent out as my AI policy, which wasn't really my intent when I gave the example. We're going to talk about what things we need to have and what tools we're telling our students are appropriate. The second question, once we look at this, did you just post it or did you make your kids read it? I have mine as an assignment. In order to get the points of the assignment, they have to type their name at the bottom, which I'm telling them is they're digitally signing that they read the AI policy and they understand it. How are you going to incorporate that AI in your classroom that promotes the right use of AI and the fact that they still have to critically think about AI in the room? And are you demonstrating that good use of AI to your students and how to do it? This is the list of things that our policies are supposed to address, and mine did not address them all. I did have a purpose statement in mine. I did have a list of when they were allowed to use them. I did say why they're prohibited. I did not say how they were going to disclose AI. I said everybody has to use MLA, and really you don't have to use MLA for every single thing with AI. I did tell them they had to verify any AI sources that they had. I did not say anything about how to think about AI. I did not say anything about bias and accuracy. Well, I did say something about accuracy. I said AI is not always right. I did not point out anything about data privacy and give any direction to my students on the fact that they can't put their personal data in AI when they use it. I didn't even consider that at all. And I didn't have any kind of a revision clause saying that this could change at any time because AI is changing. So those are things that really I had to think about on my own. So the first assignment in this class is to review your own AI policy and change as necessary. So I added the data privacy section down here. I also added the fact that I could revise these at any time in class. And of course, if I revise them, I have to talk to my kids about it and make sure they understand that I'm revising it as well. And the whole point here is that we all have different opinions and usages of AI. You need to make sure yours is appropriate for your class. I didn't have anything about bias, and I still don't because I'm not sure how to address bias in a technology class. I'm not sure if there's any way in my class that bias could become an issue on any of our research projects or anything. Social studies, they definitely could. I would think that bias could creep into papers and stuff.
That's ridiculously easy. But then again, you could as far as computers, there's two camps. When you're talking about phones, there's two camps. If you're talking about
You mean bias as far as what CPU manufacturer, what GPU? I didn't even think about that. Though I don't know how to creep in. Although I guess I should say, yeah, it's a good point, Dan. I didn't think about that because there are with GPUs and CPUs two very distinct options, and I am biased. I prefer Intel and NVIDIA over AMD.
But you have stuff like, well, graphic designers tend to gravitate a little bit more towards Apple's stuff, while the weird part is that
Yeah, see, you got a good point there. That's what I'm writing bias down so I don't forget. And I come back around to my own thing to add that. Because I don't have bias, and I didn't have a privacy statement, but I added a privacy statement in mine.
Especially because you have the AI write this for you and then read through it and make sure.
So I have an example one on the site that AI wrote. And I will tell you that I don't think there's a 0.0% chance that any student I have would read all the way through that. It hit every single point, and it was 3 pages long. And it was too much. It was too much, which is really why I tried to bullet and make mine shorter. Because this really, when I made mine, I wanted a one page statement of what it was, and I may have shortened some things up. But yes, you can. but that's what I ended up with, and I'll show you that in a second. So
Like for seventh grade, ours is just basically the schools. The school's AI policy. I mean, it's literally a link.
but again, okay. So first of all, the school just took my example one and put it on the thing. And I did not intend that to be the school AI policy. I was asked, hey, what's your AI policy? And I sent my AI policy, and the next thing I know, that's the school AI policy. I'm like, that's not what
You did a good job.
So, but again, some of those things are missing. So, and it's things that on that list from the state of Ohio, first of all, that list wasn't out a year ago. There was no guidance. It's just all of a sudden they go, have a policy. And there was no example policies in the have a policy statement from the state of Ohio. So it was kind of messed up. Okay, we need to ensure that AI content's correct. We cannot, as teachers or as students, think that everything it tells us is right. It's a tool, not an authority. It can, and I already said this, hallucinate, create with all authority the incorrect thing. I've been coding tons with AI, and about half the time it's wrong, but I just keep going and pounding at it until I get the right answer. It doesn't actually know anything. It just predicts things based on known language patterns. It's really important to cross-check facts with trusted sources. Now, it's probably easier, and this might not be true, for you guys because your sources are set. The Revolutionary War, the data about the Revolutionary War is probably not going to change a lot in the next few years. And so, and maybe the same thing with science, although there's still, but
Well, if you use a textbook, that textbook is biased because it has a finite number of pages. So it's going to choose certain facts over other facts. It doesn't mean that it changes the entire narrative of the thing, but they will not cover this guy and they will cover that guy.
And you know what? One of the things I need to put in my AI thing is that it cannot be used for tests.
Yeah, I've had some do that.
Because I do not have that specifically in there. And I know Beth had that problem with one of her science tests where she had a student who got an abnormally high grade and then got on the laptop that student was on and logged on and saw the history. He had ChatGPT. He was alt-tab in between. So every time she'd walk around, he was on his test. She walked away, he'd alt-tab and copy and paste into ChatGPT.
We need
So-
to fix Lansing.
Which you guys have the advantage of classroom sets, and then if you thought a person cheated on that workstation, all you have to do is sit down. They can't delete history. You can sit down, log on as them, and see their history and know right away whether they they cheated or not. It's much harder in the high school when the laptop just walked out of the room with them to know whether they cheated on that. Although you could do the same thing. You can say, "I need you to come back during intervention. I need to see your laptop." You can log on as them because we have access to all the passwords on the password list. You can look at their history and find out whether they cheated if you thought that was an issue. That's one of the things we can.
history.
They cannot delete their history. It's not available to them on Chrome. Now, if they got another browser installed, because as much as I try to prevent that, there are browsers that you can download and install into your profile. That if they know that and if they have it on that, I can't do anything about that. Which is, by the way, considered hacking, and they can get detention and in trouble for that. They're not supposed to add their own browsers. So I wanted to go over what the website, what the class site looks like. It has a set of section resources. This is a list of all the AIs with links to them. This is a link to Eric Kurtz's AI resources from his website called Control-Alt-Achieve. There's some awesome stuff there. There's nothing that's requiring you to go there, but if you were like interested and wanted to learn more, that's there. We're going to talk about prompts in a minute. There's an example prompt, an example excerpt to use with that prompt. There's the prompt. There's the example AI policy that I was talking about. That I showed how I did it the same way I do mine, making an assignment that they have to submit their name that they're saying, I read it and I understand. Because last thing you want to say, I never knew there was an AI policy when you just gave an F on something, right? And then, so these are all resources for the class, and these are the 4 assignments that you're going to have to do before next class. So you got a full month to do those. Some of these will be, you'll see, are extremely short. So this is assignment number 1, and we're going to take a break as soon as I go through it because I've kind of built breaks in here. Assignment number 1 is to basically check and update your AI guidance. Make sure you have spoken with your class on AI and make sure your students sign off on the AI. So the guidelines are up there in the resources. I mean, the example AI is there, and then you just go in here and the what you have to turn in is basically that a link to or a copy of your guidance, and basically showing me how you had students sign off on it. And this is what the assignments look like. It says the purpose is to make sure you've addressed AI with your classroom, make sure they understand what's permitted, what's not, how they're supposed to show that they used AI, a little bit about bias and equity considerations, and then basically you're saying that you're taking a look at yours and revising.
Do you recommend we have them sign off like a Google form or something?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I do it as an assignment in Moodle.
Oh, middle.
You know, you could do it as a Moodle quiz. You could do it as a Moodle assignment. Anything that you have to do something back. You can put a quiz question that says, have you read this and do you agree? Yes, no. And if they say no, they get 0 points. And if they say yes, they get 100. And they can take the quiz as many times as they want to until they say yes.
So if you make it a compliancy, and it's just a page, that's not good enough.
No, because not if you don't have if you don't have any way of tracking that they viewed it and said that yes, I agree to it.
Oh, not that they agreed. It's just that's the policy. There's no agreement here.
So I made it an agreement thing. They have to say yes, I understand and agree with the policy. I mean, you could say that if you viewed it, you're and you stay in my room, that you're agreeing that. But
well, I don't necessarily agree to 55 miles an hour for the year, but it's supposed to. It's like.
So anyway, so that's the idea, is that you make sure your students know. Because here's the thing. You can say that on day 1, I went over it in my classroom and everybody said yes. Somebody transfers in your class on day 2. How do you know they've read it and agreed to it? Just because it's on the website doesn't mean they've looked at it.
Well, I mean, if it is a page, I actually make it so the page is actually a criteria, and you had to have viewed this page for the next thing to open up.
And I didn't want to go into restrictions, but yes, you could, because that's what I have on mine too.
But I do like the
If
idea
you
that
don't
I
go
have to
into it and
have
say
to
you
do this.
did it, you don't even see the rest of the course. You're stuck there until you agree, and you have to view my syllabus and view my AI policy in order to see anything else showing. But restrictions, I don't want to go into restrictions.
I'm sorry.
So as long as you have a way to know that your students viewed it and you say, by viewing this, you're agreeing to it, unless you come up to me and say something right now, and then I'll beat you. Whatever you.
I know, but you said move-in kids. I was like, oh, crap.
Well, I mean, that's.
No, I have some. And
That's the thing is, if you don't have some way of tracking it, it's really easy to miss the kids that come in. And I have the same thing with the laptop agreement. I'm trusting that they signed it down in the high school office. When they say, can you put a laptop together for them? I don't have a way to do it because I'm trying to do too many things to juggle that too, But I should have a laptop class that they have to say they watched the video and, to get their laptop. Anyways, by doing something that you can easily track that's graded, then you don't have to worry. If someone came in, if Mr. Herring came in tomorrow and said, I need to see proof that you did an AI policy and that your kids do it, and you go, boom, see, it's all graded. All I'm going to say yes. Simple. And by making it, I like the idea of making a quiz. I didn't do that. You make it a yes/no answer, and it's worth 0 or 100. And if you until you say yes, you agree with it, you don't move on because you have to have 100% on that word. That's the easy way to get them to do it. Okay, questions on this? Okay, that's where I built break number 1 so that I could go to the bathroom too. So if anybody needs to take a bathroom, I am hoping you're going to teach a class on the gyms thing because I really. Okay, let's talk about AI resistant assignments. I'm teaching students how to use AI responsibly in my blogging part of my assignments, and there are specific points where I said, this is where you should use AI, this is where you can't use AI kind of thing. But I know that that it is a major concern about whether students use AI to cheat and never learn to think about that thing on their own. They never learn how to calculate moles because they asked AI to do it. It came up with the right answer. Now I never have to learn how to do that, or how to do a proper MLA essay or whatever. So we have to think about how to make them resistant. So the steps that it says to do is, number one, test the assignment by role playing. Think of yourself as a ninth grade science student. Can I cheat on this assignment the way it's written? And how can I cheat on that assignment the way it's written? So I can try to step back and say, how can I change that assignment so it's less easily cheated on? And one of the ways may just be using Land School to block ChatGPT or to keep them only in Moodle. But even that will unblock and block occasionally during the same class period. But it'd be hard to do it all AI. One of the things they talk about doing is doing multi-stage assignments where you don't do it all at one time and you try to break it up so that the students have to do the thinking by requiring a rough draft beforehand, using outlines, using brainstorming, not just doing a final product, because if you go straight to write me a 3-page essay on this, then it's too easy to do it on AI, unless it's all done in class. And that's one of the things they talked about at the conference. If you make them do all of their assignments as Google Docs, and they have to share the Google Doc to you as a editable that you can edit it, then you can see whether they typed it or not. You get to see the whole thing, which is one of the easier ways to get around it. The other thing they talked about is making it more personal. Make them have to talk about what you discussed in class or what the feedback was in class as part of their essay, which makes it AI resistant. You said, hey, we talked about the Civil War the other day, and several students gave their opinions on how the Civil War got started. I need you to write an essay on how the Civil War got started, mentioning 2 of the 5 opinions that are brought up in class. That an AI cannot figure out, right? So you can make them resistant by doing things like that, by using lab data that you did in class or something you talked about specifically on the assignment. And I already mentioned this in person. If you have them do it in class, I use Land School only to put it up on the board, because if it's up on the board, students are almost, in my experience, never cheat. And I don't know if you guys know what I mean. I literally open Land School and every single one of the people in my class is up here, but you can make them that big so nobody can read what they're doing. You know, you could be taking a test and have the postcard one up there. No one's going to, but you certainly can see if they went to YouTube or ChatGPT or left Moodle. So it's really easy to have just your class up in Land School and just be walking around, and most of the time they stay on task. And it's really easy to say, you know, George, you're not on. I don't have a George in my room, so I'm going to use that name. George, I can see you're not on task. YouTube was not part of this assignment. You know, kind of thing. So that's one of the things that we can do to try to make it more resistance. So when we go to look at those things that we can do, and I have it up here, how are you ensuring this AI-generated content is correct? That's something we need to teach our students on how to check when we do assignments and use AI. How can we change our assignments to encourage that original thought? And then I have on here, if AI is used to grade, which is one of the things you're going to see that is now available in Moodle, how do you use that? How do you verify it? And what do you do if a student disputes it? And should we use AI detectors in our classroom? So if AI can do it really easily, then it's not really measuring thinking very well. Now, granted, if you're writing a argumentative paper on something, AI can still do that, and it looks like it's thinking. But if we add personal context and lived experience, if we require documentation or just easily using Google Docs to make sure they have to share that and you have to tell them all papers are done on Google Docs. There is no cutting and pasting allows from other sources. You must type it all yourself. And you can see all that on a Google Doc. And asking for personal reflection in there is one of the things. And it's like a traditional write an essay, and in an AI resistant, write an essay using evidence from class is how you could make that more resistant. And this is one of the questions we talked about at the thing. Why do I need to change anything when there's AI detectors I can use out there? Well, the point of it is they're only 63% accurate at best. AI detectors routinely say people cheated on things that did not cheat on. And unless they're 100%, you really can't fail a student for something that, well, there's a good chance you've cheated kind of thing. However, if we're used to their writing, we don't need an AI detector to know there's no way you wrote this when you get somebody who can't complete a sentence last week and hasn't ever punctuated, and this week all of a sudden writes a perfect paper. I like this example here. AI detector said that the Declaration of Independence was all AI. So, if that's the case, which we know it was not around, I tried to use it on one of my papers to detect it. I made a mistake because it had the date that I wrote the master's paper, and its answer was, well, it might be, but it was written in 2003, and AI didn't exist then, so it definitely isn't written by AI. I was like, I should have taken up the date before I tried it, but
My wife does, if it detects 50% or more, she just has the word right.
but see, the thing is, you still don't know that it is the problem.
Yeah.
And if we teach them to do it right, because like my last assignment that one of my students was very much against and said he wouldn't do it because he was against the use of AI. The whole point of the assignment was to teach them how to use AI responsibly. So in the assignment, I'm going to zoom in and show you what I had them do. So, that's too much zooming. So they were supposed to do this CPU blog post. And the point of this one was they're supposed to write it as a rough draft in 45 minutes. They weren't supposed to sit there and spend lots of time doing it. And it's a rough draft. And then they were supposed to take and go in there and take this feedback. They're supposed to use this prompt and say, copy the prompt entirely and put in their what they wrote. So the prompt is, I'm revising this review blog post for a classroom assignment. Please carefully review my original post and correct grammar, spelling, and punctuation, improve clarity and professionalism, fix factual issues, ensure the post meets all original assignments, but keep my original writing style, tone, and structure. Do not rewrite the post. Do not remove personal reflections. Only revise or add content when necessary to meet the directions. So I wanted them to see that you can write a paper, and if you give it the right prompt, all it's going to do is fix what you screwed up. And if it fixes your capital I's and your periods and your commas, it fixes your spelling, but it's still you who wrote it, that's the right use of AI. But if you say, write me a post on this, then that is not the responsible use of AI, which is what I was trying to teach him. And then instead he said, I can't do it because I'm morally opposed to the use of AI. So he had to write one on why he's morally opposed. So second assignment is to pick any assignment of yours that you've already got in your class and try to make it more AI resistant. The assignment is to give me your original assignment and then your revised assignment and like a paragraph on what you thought you did to make it more AI resistant. So one assignment, so the original assignment could be a link to where it is on Moodle, but if you're changing it where it is, then save it as a PDF first and then change it, because I want to see the original and the revised, and then one short blurb on exactly what you changed and why you changed it and why you think that's making it more. And the idea of this one is just to get you thinking about what can I do that doesn't make more work, because that's the whole point here. We want to try to change the way we do things without creating more work for ourselves, because that doesn't help anything. So that's assignment number 2. And I'm going to just continue on unless anybody needs a break. Okay. So, by the way, I made this with ChatGPT. I thought it was pretty funny. We're going to talk about AI prompts. It made me a graphic on AI prompts, and it put this. I don't know what this was. Here's constraints, and then it says constraint. I don't know what that word is. By the way, AI graphics are really good, really bad at words. So I don't know what it did there. But other than that, it was an okay graphic, other than the one mistake. So an AI prompt is what we put in to ask AI to do what we want it to do. And we need to teach students how to do the right kind of prompt to get what they want back. And what they want back is to not get an F for cheating. And we have to teach them what good prompts look like. And if it means that you write the prompt and say, in Moodle is this prompt, use this prompt for your paper in whatever, so they get used to what a good prompt looks like. So they need to be clear and say what they want. Do not rewrite my paper. Tell me what I did wrong in grammar and spelling, and if there's anything I said that was false, because that's important, right? Give context, who I am, what am I writing it for, what kind of format do I want back? I want it written exactly like it was in my voice, with my experiences. I just want you to make sure I didn't say anything wrong. You can set constraints on how long, tone, and you can say how you want it to act, and I'm going to show you one, and then refine it as you go. So this is, it's the next slide. I'm going to, AI tools like people are very different. Some of them are better, some are better than others. It may be that ChatGPT is the best thing for math today, but it may not be a year from now. Copilot, and when I went to the AI conference last year, when I came back, I got a quote for Copilot. It was the best a year ago. The quote was over $200,000 a year for our district to have Copilot. So I was like, $30 per person per month. Educationally, they just lowered the price to $18 per person per month for your district if you want your district to have Copilot. It's crazy. It's crazy. And and originally they said you had to do the whole district. It's your whole domain. Now they've changed it. You can do subsets. You can just pick people to do it. But it's gotten worse. Right? It hasn't gotten worse. Everybody else has passed it. Right? It's gone past it. So we're going to look at some of those things that we're going to try to do in this course is to use it to make assignments, to level assignments, to change Lexi levels for those assignments, which is not the same thing, by the way. Make questions and show how to make questions, how to level questions, and how to generate images to a small extent as well. Did Kenji come with you?
Yeah.
Hey, Kenji. This is our service dog, Kenji. You good?
I'm home. I wouldn't have been here for like.
Oh, yeah, okay. Kenji down. Down.
He's retired, so you know.
Okay, there we go.
Right.
Okay, so again, this is my but
They retired.
he's retired kind of sort of. So this is the list of ones that I've got. I did one. You can't read it very well. It says, act as a 9th grade history teacher, create a 45-minute lesson on the causes of World War I, include a warm-up activity, key vocabulary, direct instruction notes, one primary discussion, and an exit ticket. Keep language appropriate for my high school freshman. That's a very specific prompt to get exactly what I wanted. I got very different outputs from the different engines. This was ChatGPT, which wasn't bad. This one was Gemini, which was very similar. I almost felt like it was a cut and paste. The one I got from Claude I liked way better because not only did it give it to me, it gave me a way to download it straight as a PDF or copy it really easily into another activity. And I liked the fact that Claude gave me learning objectives for the lesson, which I didn't ask for, But it was like, well, obviously you need to know, it gave me everything. And then I also tried it on Blazor, and it was doing a good job. And I forgot that I added one thing in the middle of the prompt. I said, we are a one-to-one school and everyone has a laptop. Can you change this to be more interactive for the students? And then it goes, oh, well, I'm going to do a lesson. But now I got a whole nother set of things that I could do to be interactive on that.
Did you put that in there, or did?
No, I stopped it while I was talking. You can hit the stop button, and I added this, and then it started up again and changed the lesson.
You had.
Yes.
I thought the AI said.
No, I did because I was like, that's something I didn't think about in the prompt. That later on, I was like, hey, we're one-to-one. There's a whole level of things that it might be able to give us ideas for. So the whole point of this exercise is for you to work on getting a prompt that you could use over and over and over again to get what you want. So we could do AI prompts to do reading levels, instruction materials, and this is kind of what a gem probably would be if I knew how to do gems yet, but I don't. There's a whole layer of things that we could do in our class, and this is an example prompt that's an open prompt that I can start with and just end it with what I'm talking about. So it says, I'm a 9th grade biology teacher experienced in supporting IEP accommodations. I will pass a reading passage, and I should take out the subject, passage below, so it does not say what the topic is. Please modify the text to support students who read 3 grade levels below standard, benefit from shorter sentences, need vocabulary support, have processing delays, requirements, keep all essential biology content accurate, simplify sentence structure without watering down the concepts, bold key vocabulary terms for me, add brief student-friendly definitions in parentheses, so if it's student doesn't know what the word is, it's going to give them that definition, break text into short paragraphs, add 3 comprehensive check questions at the end, multiple choice, do not remove essential scientific terminology, and it ends with, here is the passage. So minus, I didn't realize I left photosynthesis up there. If I do this one and it works, then it's really important that you save them. I have prompts that I have a text file of prompts that I have saved. So when I'm going to do so, I don't type all this stuff again. I find the one that works, and then I can just copy this and say the topic right there at the end and use it over and over. Yeah.
And that's what a gem does.
Is that what a gem does?
If you when you set it up for all the blank areas, and when you just come in and go, hi, and it goes, how can I help you? And then you can basically make it go, all right, I'm working in biology.
So
and we're
yeah,
doing
a gem is a Google Gemini pre-made prompt that everything's already there, that you would just go to that gem and type photosynthesis. And it would go, because already it's all saved in there. I don't know how to do
So they're
it.
just prompts. The
Yeah.
gems are just
well,
prompts.
but it's one that you made.
Yeah.
So it comes out the way that you want, and it even actually has a little wizard in there. So as you're making one, you're like, I think this sounds good. You can actually go back, open it up, hit the wizard, and let the wizard.
I was teaching
work
that
out.
class when the Google Gems class was, and it really was.
No, this was the one that caught on. That literally after almost about 2 hours and 45 minutes, I had to walk out. It was like 15 minutes left, but I was just like, because the guy Eric Kurtzen he has on here was that guy. He's really good, but he has a mountain of information, and he goes a little bit faster than Brian.
And that's all he does. That's all he
Yeah.
does is teach classes. He's phenomenal at it, but
And he tells you like 20 different things about the same thing in every platform you could do it on. And even if he's doing gems, he was teaching all the other ones. And I was like,
It's just coming at you.
yeah, the tech conference is phenomenal, but you do melt your brain at some point. Anyway, so my point is, and the point of this assignment is for you to come up with the prompt that works for your class. And I've got on here, and I wanted to take a pause here because I definitely have time. I have this prompt and a photosynthesis reading passage for you to copy and paste that and that into any one of these. And I'd like you to try 2 to see how they come up with different things from the same one. And the point in this activity that you're going to do is to come up with a prompt for your class and try it in a couple, because until you've tried several, you really can't find. You can't say AI is AI because it's not. The different ones do different stuff better. I was a ChatGPT fanboy 2 years ago, and even last year, and now I have a paid subscription to Claude because that's the one I use for IT tech stuff.
It is, but not the,
There's no sign.
there's no sections.
Oh, that section's still hidden? Okay, sorry.
Second at the top.
Yeah, my class was named something else, and I just looked today, and Apple changed the name. I think it's shorten it to fit. They turned it into AI differentiation, engagement differentiation. That is not the name of the course that I gave them. Anyway, not that that matters.
Well, you're up the list. You're towards the top of all the courses, right? As opposed to the bottom.
So you couldn't see. Nope, that's the wrong one. It's this one. You can't see this whole section.
No.
There we go. Now you can. You get it? That still says hidden. Now is it?
Yes.
You know, you just clicked on that brown bar. Since we can't see it, it's gone now.
Oh, can you click on that to change it?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know. That was just a message. So the idea is that you go to any one of these websites, and I do want to make sure we're almost done anyway. Any of these that you want to try, and then use the prompt. That's just an example of what a prompt could look like, and you just copy that prompt into. I'm going to use Copilot this time and see how it does. Copy the prompt in there, and then you can see the photosynthesis reading passage. You can copy that in there as well, because I didn't want you guys to have to look for. And then see what kind of product you get out of it. It's not also just about the product. It's also about the speed of the product. If you're sitting there forever waiting for it, and I did notice on this one, because I did several of them, that the steps of photosynthesis on some of them followed the directions. Like it said, sunlight's bolded, absorbed by the green leaves. Do you need to know what the leaves are? Parentheses, the green parts of the plant. That was something that's new on this generation.
What grade level did you say it is? Oh wait, it was ninth grade, wasn't it?
Ninth grade. So the sixth grader doesn't know what a leaf is? And so it's a good example.
Maybe.
And by the way, once you do one, normally you can go right here and you can just copy this into any of the other ones. Where's my list? See what GenSpark does. This is the one I haven't played with much at all. It didn't bold as many words. Let's see, zoom in a little bit. Just some of them didn't simplify photosynthesis as much as other words. Some of them had like almost the exact same sentence on it. So I just wanted you to see that really that they're not the same, and you have to take a little bit of time to figure out which one, because definitely social studies and science are going to probably have different ones that work for them. Just like I got used to Claude being 100 times better when it came to coding than ChatGPT. ChatGPT was horrible when it came to coding. And maybe it's better now, I don't know. But when I started coding again.
I've used Magic School.
And that's one of the tools that we'll look at later, because that's not a generic one, that's a specific education one.
We have that here?
But Magic School is one of those ones that has a paid wall, so you get so much stuff for free with Magic School.
I kept calling it Magic School Bus.
Yeah.
Last week.
Oh, there's Magic School and then there's School AI, and they both have a paid wall that you hit after you use it too much. Although I think Magic School has gotten way better.
I've never hit a wall there.
You haven't. See, when it first came out last year, all the time, and that's why I got bids for Brisk and Diffit and Magic School. And Magic School was 12 times more. It was 12 grand for the school, and Brisk was $1,000. And I'm like, well,
Brisk actually is better than Diffin. But if you learn to talk to AI, then I'd say the next one is Claude.
yeah. Well, the thing and it's about the prompt generation. If you're even Magic School or any of those, all they're really doing is sending the prompt along with what you just said to the AI engine. The back end is really the prompt. I mean, any of them could be using Gemini or ChatGPT on the back end, and you're just paying them to basically rewrite the prompt that goes on to the AI.
It's like I can be real generic, and then hit the prompt assistant, and they'll retype it for me, and then you just accept prompt, and they'll do it.
Gemini, as far as their gems, will help you with that. Of course, you still have to, of course, look at it
Right.
because it's like, did I really mean to say that? But they also the ability to actually, when you're doing a Gemini gem, is also going, these are my state standards, these are my indicators, these are even prior tests that I've actually done or whatever, and just keep piling it in. You can do it with the Canvas part of it and just start loading in.
Because on Magic School, you can put down there align to NGSS or Ohio Science Standards, and it'll align it. And
Now that's the one thing that's nice. Brisk will let you pick which ones that you want to do
yeah,
on theirs, but it doesn't. I don't think it has an assistant. So it's like one does this and the other one does that.
All of them definitely have their pluses,
Yeah.
and they're different. And part of that is why I'm trying to code some of that into Moodle, because I'm trying to take, I like this, and I like this, and I like this, and I'm going. Because really, all I'm doing in the back end of Moodle is prompt engineering, so that you guys can say you want this, and it does the same thing as Magic
You
School.
do know you're one person and you have about 30 years left tops.
What?
I'm just to live, dude. Just like at some point you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm just done. That's good enough. So deal with it.
Anyway, my point when I talk about save your prompt, when you've written a good prompt, and it might be you write the good prompt, then you end up making a gem out of it because it'd be the same thing. Just consider saving it in your Moodle class. You could make a Moodle page that's closed to students that you keep your prompts in, so that when you're looking at doing something in your class, you just go boom and pull it right out of there. But as you perfect the prompts that you have, save them. So that's what the third assignment is. Create your own reusable prompt for your course. And it can be for whatever works best for you. If you want to make a good prompt that makes quiz questions for you, that exports them in the Aiken format and makes it so you can import it perfectly into Moodle, then maybe that's the prompt that works best for you.
So they're looking for something vague here or something that's specific?
Well, you want it to end with, when you write a good prompt, you want it to be something like this, where this is the prompt all the way to this colon, so I can add the end at every single topic.
Gotcha.
So a good prompt doesn't have the topic in it. It ends with the thing. So I can grab this, acts as a 9th grade history teacher, create a 45-minute lesson, include a warm-up, key vocabulary, direct instruction. I have all that stuff, and it ends with the subject of the lesson is colon, and that's the prompt that I'm saving. So when I do it tomorrow, I just go paste, Revolutionary War, whatever. That would be a pretty big prompt.
That photosynthesis thing just
So that's the idea of creating a prompt that works for you. So it says on here, create a reusable prompt. Make sure you give your prompt a role. I'm a 10th grade world history. I don't know actually which class you teach. American history teacher. Start with that because it needs to know the grade level, the content area. Teaching in Ohio under Ohio standards could be added to that when you hit assign the role. So it's always going to pull in Ohio standards every single time you do it. I'm teaching it for whatever grade level. I want whatever. If you're going to differentiate, put that in there. How, basically you build the whole thing so that all you do at the end is put the subject in and you go and you get it. And it will take tweaking. You have to do it a couple times to get exactly what you want, and then you save that prompt. I'm like, there are careers in prompt engineering on making good prompts, so people get. So that's create a reusable prompt. Use at least 2 different AIs with your prompt to compare them. I would suggest trying them all once you have a prompt done and say, okay, this is the one that gave me what I want. Now you have an idea of what your go-to is. And then basically you're going to give me a copy of your prompt, a screenshot of the AI outputs, although you can copy and paste them in there too. And then what your decision was. Like, I loved Gemini because it gave me the best math or whatever.
So you had 2 different screenshots of at least 2 different AIs.
Yeah. But if you want to copy and paste it too, you can copy and paste it in the text directly. It doesn't have to be a screenshot. So that's the third assignment. And the last one, it's going to take me 5 minutes to show you the last one. The last one is basically doing the same thing to level something in your class. To take something you're already using and differentiate the materials up or down, depending on which way you need to go. Maybe you've got a bunch of gifted students and you haven't been meeting the gifted guidelines or whatever. So take anything you're currently using in your class, use AI to differentiate reading levels or instructional materials, or use AI to draft a lesson specifically for a different level. In other words, if you've already got one for all your standard students, but you need a whole different lesson because you just can't keep them on the exact same thing. And then this one is supposed to be implemented, though. This isn't just make one that you look at. This is make a separate assignment, put it in your Moodle, and then give me links to where it's at in Moodle. And it says links to the material, a brief description, and that's just in the typed area, and any thoughts about how you used it. So the idea is you've got a month to actually use something that you differentiated with AI in your class, which should be usable, doable, which is one of those things you can't do like my next door neighbor did and wait until the night before and do that because there's no way Shannon Toothman could possibly get it done the very last day. There was one last time that was like that too, that you were supposed to actually do it with students. Because I wanted to see how they did, right? I want to follow the link and see how they did. That's the last thing. Now I hurried up at the end. That's the last thing that I have on the thing that's the last assignment for the class. So, thoughts, feedback? None of those should be too hard to do within 10 hours because that's the whole thing. Is I don't want it to be, Shalane walks out here and he just gave me 30 hours worth of homework. How am I supposed to get that done? But I hope all of those things are something that after you do them, it'll be something, okay, I can definitely do that in my class on an ongoing basis. So, and just so you know, Eric, I'll show you, if you're in, I'm going to go to my class. If you're in, it's not, where's my, you can just go to more and your content bank. Zoom in a little bit so it's not so. Not content bank, it's your question bank. Where am I? One above it. Go to more in your question bank, and you can go and say right up here where it says questions, I go to import, and it defaults to the Aiken format. It's the number one there. You have to be careful that you put it in a category, or you'll be really unhappy because you'll end up with 5,000 questions all in the same thing. So like all mine, I have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Down here in chapter 4, I started making categories for each one of my sections in my class. But you just don't want to leave it on the course up top, or you'll end up with a mess. So basically that's it though. And then I say stop on error no. and you drop the file right there and say import, and it goes. And you can put 100 in at one time.
Yes.
You do stop on error.
So that I know, because I still actually have my TXT open. So if it's an error, because if
I've never had an error, so
have you ever copied and pasted the wrong thing?
that was me. It was confusing.
Wait a minute, no, it never stops. It never knows that there's an error. If you say
It does tell you that how many questions got imported and how many didn't. It just doesn't stop.
oh, I have mine stopped
Oh.
because occasionally, sometimes something fits in there that's not Aiken, and it goes, "Hey, wait a minute!" I'm like, "Oh yeah, erase." Save,
Yeah.
load
And
again.
if you don't have categories, you can go right here to categories and you can create.
That's what I was gonna ask. So do you have to make specific categories
Yeah.
just for that?
Yeah. So when you come in, there's just one category called computer hardware,
Right.
and then you go and click add category, and I added one for every single chapter. Right.
Okay.
So I've got they're all inside semester one, so that when I'm doing a semester test, I can pick that category. Because you can say show all subcategories. So during my semester exam, I pick that and say show subcategories, and I get all the questions from everything for the first semester,
And you can put category inside a category inside of a category.
which is what I have here. So I've got semester one, inside that is chapter 4. Inside chapter 4 is 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. You can see I moved all the questions out apparently and didn't
Yeah, and you
delete them.
know 60. What was it? 66,000 or something.
Yeah, I had way too many questions at one point. I deleted a bunch of them. I had a bunch of old, but anyway. So you want to at least I would recommend making a category for every chapter,
Yeah.
and you can see they're not very standardized, but
Do you do like quizzes within the unit?
Yeah.
Then I put so like you have chapter 1.
Like 4.1, 4.2.
Yeah, then that's really what he's doing.
that's what that
And
is
Yeah, and
down here.
if you feel like later on you'd like a differentiated questions, based off of depth of knowledge, you could then come back later and make more questions inside there to go into just.
I also name all my questions by the content area. So 4.1, that's in my question name, just so that
You'll come up.
If I made the test on Magic School though, and just imported it, do I still need to? Are those still important? Or
say that again.
if I made the test on Magic School,
You
I just
could
want to import that from Magic School to Moodle.
you could definitely export them from Magic School in Aiken format and then import them right into.
And that the categories wouldn't matter in that instance.
Well, you still would because otherwise they all go together.
Oh, I see.
I mean that because if I looked at the I've got it on chapter 4 right now, but if I don't put them in a category, then I would end up with all of these questions, which I have 8 pages of questions,
Oh, yeah, I got it.
all in the set. So when I go to make a quiz, I'll be like,
Gotcha.
But if you add it in a category, then when I go to make the chapter 4 test, I just say, let me see the chapter 4 questions, and I go and pick some of it.
And that's the thing is, like you said, making sure you know what category you're going into, because if you don't, and let's just say you say, okay, I think this is chapter 1 or chapter 10, if there's no categories, it's pulling from every question that you possibly.
Yeah, I think that's my problem right now. Is I got a billion questions and none of them are categories, so I have to.
It
go-
makes it, and that's what when I started in Moodle, right? You're going and it's fine. There's none there. And you added chapter 1, and then you move on to chapter 2, and you add questions, and then all of a sudden you go to add something, and you're like, I've got 90 questions in there. Which ones are the one and that's why it's like if you add categories and start organizing them, it makes your life way easier next year.
Yeah.
I mean, it still may not be horrible this year, but next year it will be horrible.
What the nice thing is you've downloaded it, you've saved it as a text document. So even if you had to go back in and like blow out questions because they all ended up in the wrong spot, you still have that TXT file, and you can just load it up again somewhere else.
Sure.
And it's like, oh wait, I forgot to make one. It's like, cool. Delete all those ones I just put in there, and then back.
Which is fine for multiple choice. But unfortunately, there's no way to download and back up. Like a bunch of my questions are the drag and drop and the drag on an image. those there's no way to export and import those. Multiple choice and true false were great, which is, when I'm trying to do ones for my IEP kids, and I say take these multiple choice questions and remove one option from each one, then you can have a whole, chapter 4 IEP, and you can upload those into an IEP folder, and now they only have 3 options on there on theirs. So there's lots of things that 2 years ago I could have never leveled text. There's no way for us to redo that. As a normal teacher teaching normal classes, but now with AI, you
just don't have the skill. You don't have the skill set to do that.
Well, if they were like, well, we're going to give you 2 periods off every week to rewrite your stuff for 3rd grade reading level, I'd still be like, I don't know. I'm not an elementary school teacher. I couldn't do that.
So here's a better thing.
Pause for a second. So does it do it like by the way, that's one of Claude is horrible at images. So if you're trying to make images, Claude will make images, and they're like a 2nd grader with a crayon. They are horrible.
Eric's picture of him shaking hands with Lincoln's pretty cool.
And that's what this does?
Because he hit on the plus, he threw in a picture of Lincoln and then threw in a picture of himself and said, combine these 2 people in a picture together.
Here, I'm gonna add a picture of me. Let's see if I have a.
You always get your picture taken.
I don't have any pictures of myself in my own. Oh wait, there's one. How many do you get from Gemini?
This counts just like your regular searches. So this thing's at like 1,000 on fast. It's like 500 on thinking, and it's 100.
Oh, that was it. That's me on the moon. Like I meant, yes, it's me with the moon as a background.
And again, I'm going to tell you, it's your prompt. You literally have to, literally say, put me in a space
suit. On the moon, planting American. I just spelled that American flag. I spelled American wrong.
Could be more American than doing that.
Planting the American flag, not planting. I forgot the T. I don't know.
Now, no. This is a fast. If you did it under thinking, it will work a little bit harder.
Under thinking? What do you mean?
Oh, down there on your. See where
right there.
Yeah. So there. Pro, you have 100 a day. I think thinking you have 500 a day.
My head is turned. The space suit.
Stupid.
So I take it if it's thinking, it also takes longer.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, not horrendously long, depending on what you're feeding it, but it's more.
Because that didn't look like that. Looked like it took a picture of me and went like that.
No, fast. If you're image fast lane. Image fast thinking better. Image pro, very good, but it's going to take a little.
That's not really that much better. I could have made that picture myself.
In that amount of time? No, you couldn't.
That does not look like I'm dead. I can't breathe. There's no mask. I'm dead. That's like
You don't know if there's atmosphere.
seconds from death.
Let me ask you this. Is there atmosphere on the moon?
The glass broke, and I'm smiling for the picture right where I go. Yeah, that's not good. But okay, it did a picture. Just would not use that one for anything decent.
We never went to the moon.
Okay.
You're teaching the kids that.
Yeah.